That's, by the way, that's how I crushed the first move down, man. Obviously, had I held another day, I would have made fucking 20x.
Yeah.
But
still a fucking insane hold regardless, you know?
Yeah, but that's how I caught it. So you know, I don't know if you guys remember, but that day, can you pull up a chart of just S&P for the last, you know, I don't know, for the year, I guess,
Yeah.
for this year?
I gotta swap it, but I will.
And I'll show you what happened. So basically that day where there was rumors floating around, and this was the day of the Trump announcement, right? Trump made the announcement after the market closed on the tariffs, right? And what did he call that day, bro? What did he call that day? He called it Liberation Day, bro. He called it Liberation Day. That day, on Liberation Day, look at this shit, all right? Okay, so let's go to that day. So this is April, beginning of April, okay? It's fucking D-Day, Liberation Day. And take a look at that green candle right there. Now, the rumors were floating around that day that he was just going to do 10%, and it was enough. It was enough to get everybody long. And if you looked at the puts, the price of puts, they went to shit. They went to complete shit. Everybody was convinced, and, you know, everything was going to be all good. And I felt it in my head. I was already short going into it. Like I knew I was going to have to hold into some pain because they're gonna shake you out. They have to make sure the least amount of people are in this trade before it happens. So I look at the price of the puts. I look at the 5,400 puts, bro. I looked at the 5,400 puts. I think we closed that day at like 56 or something. And I looked at Friday's expo, right? I think it was a Wednesday or something like that. It was I don't know what day it was. So I looked at an expo 2 days out, and they were going for $6, bro. They were going for $6, 200 handles out, or maybe like 150 handles out. They opened the next day at fucking $90, bro. Like that was the entry. So that was the real entry. Now, I got in just a small bit of that, just to test if I was right. Because in my head, you have to make sure the least amount of people are in this trade. You have to make sure everybody's positioned long. And that's exactly that. That's what it looked like into the close. So only on the basis of that, I took the shot. So I had a 10K. I threw 10K in there. I made 100 on that. And then as soon as the market opened, I went all in short everything else. Right? I went all in short fucking every tech, SPX, Qs, everything. Right? And I held the lotto that
you held through here, right?
Exactly. So I held through the second day. Now, I sat there watching the screen, and my plan was do not sell until tomorrow morning when they gap it down. Because usually when you see stuff like this, and that many people are trapped on the wrong side, what do? We close at lows of day. And then we usually gap in that direction. So I couldn't fucking do it, Joe. My fucking emotions were just too jittery, bro. So I'm up all this fucking money. I'm like, oh, you know, you have the devil in your head. It's not the devil, but you got two people in your fucking head talking.
Right.
There's probably probably had 90 voices in my fucking head. And then God forbid you start talking to other people about these trades. That's the worst thing that you could do. Because everybody's got their own fucking shitty opinions that you should not be listening to. So, long story short, I cut it the end of that day and I rolled a little bit. So I caught the gap down the next day and I took that off immediately. And then I just took myself out of the equation. And then lo and behold, we crashed that second day. So to give you this in perspective, Joe, those $6 options, they went to $500.
That's crazy, dude. That's nuts. Oh my God.
And I got out at 100.
I mean, even getting it to 100 and catching that whole move is impressive because most people are out long before that. But 500 that's bonkers, dude.
So that was the whole thing. And by the way, all these moves, they happen on the basis of a catalyst, and they happen on the backs of everybody positioned in the wrong way because of these catalysts. So I knew that it was that moment and that moment alone, because that was going to be the catalyst to push everybody on the wrong side. I get on a plane, bro. I had to get on a plane to go to fucking Colombia at 3:00 in the afternoon. So I'm at the airport fucking frantically on the motherfucking phone, man. You know what I mean? I'm frantically on the phone trying to figure out what the hell is going
Were
on.
you trading on your phone?
I wasn't actually trading. I just had my position. So I already kind of knew what I was going to do, whether or not anything was going to happen. I didn't have any longs. I had my swing short, and then I had my small, lotto here just to test if I was right. Boom, 4 o'clock. I'm on the plane. Okay. I'm on the fucking plane. We're like taxiing out. So we're starting to lift off. And 4:15 comes around. I'm still checking news. The news comes out. We went up. We went straight up off the news. So we hit like I want to say we hit like 570 on SPY in the after hours. And then in a matter of seconds, boom, crashed down to 545. And that was exactly the point where I lost all the internet. But I saw us at 545. So I had the most comfortable ride to Colombia that I could have ever have had. I get off the plane. But remember, the move hasn't happened yet. We're talking about it as if. So I get off the plane. I tell my boy, I'm like, listen, take me to a motherfucking electronics store right now. I need a mouse. I need 2 monitors. Just take me right now. And he's like, yo, tú no quieres comer primero? In Spanish, he's like, yo, you don't want to eat? I'm like, take me to a motherfucking electronics store right now. Do they got Best Buy here? No. It doesn't matter. Take me to wherever the fuck they sell monitors. Boom. I get set up at his crib, basically. I get it all set up. I'm basically logging into my PC here in Puerto Rico, my remote desktop, because I don't want to spend the time putting all these damn windows and shit up. So I just remote in. And my plan, boom, as soon as the market opens, bro, I was up at 4 a.m., bro. I was up at 4 a.m. doing yoga, fucking meditating, getting my shit together because I didn't realize we were on a different fucking time zone. Finally, market opens. I'm just ready to go. I lean into everything. And I told my boy, I'm like, listen, we're not touching this until the end of the day. Now, I lied, of course, because I started fucking messing around. I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't fucking.
Yeah, but you were up how much at that point?
Fucking milli plus, bro. Milli plus.
Like, how would you not take that? You know what I mean?
It's the difference between 1 and 20, Joe.
Yeah,
1
yeah.
and 10. It's the difference. It's that thing that we're talking about. So that's going to happen again, but they're going to trap the shit out of people. And you can see what they're doing right now. I mean, 2 days ago, we looked like absolute hell, like we were going straight down. And now we're right back up to the high end of the range. So we're going to have a 40 handle range. Sorry, 400 handle range.
Right.
For God knows how long until this resolves. And I'm telling you, people are going to go nuts here. But you're going to see a lot of blown out accounts until that next move gets revealed to us. And I think that next move is lower.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, just talking about your story, I remember when you hit it and you were typing it in the chat, and I think you ended up like what 1.6 in total.
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm like, of all times for Lucci to be in Colombia after he just made $1.6 million, like I was like, I can only imagine what he's gonna do tonight, like where he's gonna be, where he's dropping cash. Like I was trying to like live vicariously through you. I'm like, I wonder what this guy's doing, because after all that move, did you trade those next few days in Colombia before the conference, dude?
So you got to remember the day of the live trading session, which was a Monday. Yeah. That was the weekend after. So the weekend passed, and then futures opened up on Sunday. I'm fucking wasted, bro. I'm wasted. I get back to the crib where everybody's at the hotels, and everybody's looking at me like something's wrong. And I'm like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? What's going on? And then dude's like, dude, we're down. You don't want to see this shit. You don't want to see this shit, because they all knew too. And I lost, dude. My heart just dropped. I was like, no. And Sykes is there. Sykes is the loudest loud, and he's just jumping up and down. He's like, dude, are we trading? Pull up your computer. Let's trade some futures. I'm like, dude, I'm wasted right now.
Wasted not trying to give up the 1.6 I just made.
So the next day, bro, was just, it was hard, man. It was hard for me because, obviously it was crazy range, and so but I basically stayed off the keys, because once I make that, there's always that little hesitation. There's always a little period in time where you're just like, do I want to jump back in or do I want to just fucking sit here and enjoy it? And then, dude, Colombia's it's gorgeous, man. So we had such a nice hotel, and you know,
Yeah, of
so I
course.
couldn't I couldn't I couldn't I couldn't I couldn't shoot back in, man.